everybody. I am so excited to bring this panel to you guys. I have been working really, really hard on this panel to get everybody together. So I'm so excited. So welcome. This is our One eXp Decoded. So basically what we're going to be going through today is we're going to be breaking down what One eXp actually is, what it means to you as the agent or staff member watching, and how it relates to your everyday life. So I'm excited to dive in. First of all, I want to let you guys know before I let the panelists introduce themselves. Panelists, I want to know where you're at. I want to know what resource groups you're a part of, what leadership you're a part of. But before we get into all of that, One eXp is a global community of over 50,000 agents, guys, and staff united by purpose and driven by connection. Okay, so we believe belonging builds confidence, confidence fuels leadership, and leadership creates a legacy. Okay, so today we're not just talking about resource groups, we're also talking about leverage, how involvement translates into our businesses, into our everyday lives. And I've brought this wonderful panel who crosses over so many different resource groups. Panelists, let's go ahead and get you started. Again, introduce yourself. Let us know your leadership roles, what groups you're a part of. Tell our audience, excuse me.
Who goes first?
Michelle, go first. Yes, absolutely.
Hi, I'm Michelle Martin. I am the co-chair of eXp Military Network. I am also a Florida State leader for Young Professionals Network, and I'm also a member of eXp Latino. Oh, where am I at? I'm in Orlando, Orlando, Florida.
All right, awesome. Rebecca?
Hi, everyone. Okay, well, I'm Rebecca Soto. I am in Orlando, Florida. I am part of eXp Latino. I am the co-chair and also a part of WIN and Black eXp Network. And I love all the networks, by the way. So if I could be in all of them, I would. But I'm sorry, what was the other question?
Just where are you? Well, you said it already. You're in Orlando. You covered all the bases.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Andrew?
Hey guys, I'm Andrew Maloney. I'm Director of Membership Engagement for eXp Professionals, and I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Awesome. And our pop-up guest, Camryn.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to be here. Camryn Cisneros, manager of One eXp, and I lead all of our 16 global affinity groups, and I focus on community strategy, focused on translating belonging into business growth. And so my role is to ensure all of our incredible networks aren't just spaces for connection. They're the platform for visibility, for leadership development, and creating impact across our whole company. 50,000 agents. We are the largest division across any division across the company. So I'm here to ensure continuity, success, and ultimately provide you guys with the tools, systems, relationships, and resources to become leaders across our industry.
Awesome. And hey guys, so I'm Jen Rountree. I am your moderator. I am also the Director of Education for YP. I am also an ambassador for WIN. I am also the new chair for our Care Action Network. In addition to also part of Pride, part of Ben, part of eXp Latino. And so we have named quite a few resource groups already, but I'm just going to run down the list for everybody who's watching that may be new to One eXp or may not know all of our resource groups. And I want our panelists to kind of help me. All right. So if you guys know of some that we've left out, I know we have said Pride, we've said Latino, we've said YP, Care Action Network, we've said MilNet, we have the Healthy Mind Collective, we said WIN. Does anybody have any others?
Asian American, the Asian Network, right?
The Asian Network. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Slavic. We also have the Indigenous Network. We also have South Asian Network. And we have eXp Capable. We have eXp Seniors. We have eXp Nest, which is a newer group. That's like our parental resource group. And let's see, I don't think we have Middle East Network as well. So there is so much to really break down and unpack. We can't even do it in one session when you really think about it. So there will be a part 2, guys, because we can't even control everything in this one session. But I'm so excited. So with further ado, I've got some really great questions lined up for our panelists today. And actually, this is kind of a little bit for everybody. So take us back to when you first plugged into 1EXP, right? Like think way back to when you first plugged into 1EXP in your resource group, whichever one that is. At what point did you realize it wasn't just community, right? When did you start to leverage it for your career?
I'll go. I mean, I first tapped into YP when I was at one of the shareholder summits about 2 or 3 years ago in Orlando. And I was approached by a couple of the YP members, Lawrence Lonnie and a few other people, and kind of hung out with them all at Universal Studios and joined the workplace group. And when I realized it was more than just a community, you know, working with your parents as I do, that's my coworkers, is my mom and dad. So having the community of like-minded agents who are around my age, growing their business at the same time was really beneficial to me. And that's what I really learned in with tapping into workplace. Also, my second year, I was about 65% referrals from workplace and from YP. So like, it really did help grow my business because it was agents I knew, like, and trust around the country who knew, like, and trusted me. And that really was beneficial to me in my career joining YP.
Yeah, awesome. I love that, Andrew. Michelle, what about you?
So for me, it wasn't all that long ago. At my first eXp Con in 2024, I was just kind of looking for, you know, the agenda, like what to do. And I saw something about Military Network, and I just showed up to the 1EXP lounge, and I was like, oh, this is a thing. Cool. And I was super late and everything. And then I happened to run into one of the former board members, but I didn't know she was a board member, but we had been at our previous brokerage together, and I was like, oh, hey girl. And she's like, oh, hey. And then all of a sudden she got up and started speaking. I said, oh, she's important, you know? And I basically just asked to be plugged in. I was like, hey, do y'all need anything on the leadership side? And they were like, sure. And then at that same eXp Con, and you know, the rest is history, but then at that same eXp Con, I did the same thing with eXp Latino. And Rebecca, I heard about the party. But I hadn't bought my ticket. Like I heard about the party like super last minute. And then they were looking for volunteers to help. And I was like, and then like, oh, if you help, you'll get some food. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I was like, I'll help. And I was up there like checking people in and handing out wristbands and stuff. And I just volunteered to get in there to help. And then that's how Rebecca and I met. And then I've just been kind of like, for me, 1EXP has brought me a lot of connections, a lot of new friends, a lot of opportunities as a result of that to grow as a leader, mostly because that's what I've been focused on. I've been trying to focus on my career as a leader and as a coach and as a trainer. And it was through the connection with Rebecca, actually, that I became an instructor for eXp University. So like, it's been a whole thing, like all the connection. And Gracie and I are actually talking business because I'm working with Gracie. I've been slacking Gracie, I'm sorry, but we're working together on maybe be buying some property up where Gracie's at. So it's just been a really nice form of networking and connecting with others in like more ways than just for real estate and referrals.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Can I go next?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I love that story, Michelle, because she is such a great example of someone who just rolled up her sleeves and says, how can I help? And she had tons of skill and knowledge, and she's definitely so much more than just helping us register for the event, but that was a lifesaver for us. But I saw her heart, and I think that this is where we get to plug in to these communities. People see the abilities that we have, and I saw her heart, and she wanted to keep teaching and training. I said, well, we may have an opportunity, but for me, that opportunity came earlier. I've been with eXp now for almost 7 years, and almost from day one, the original founder for eXp Latino reached out to me and says, hey, can you help me out? And so I just came in and said, okay, wherever you need me, I'm here to help. And so it's been just an amazing opportunity connecting with our Latino community. And for us, it's a little different because it's more of a language barrier, and there's not a whole lot when you think of training in Spanish. And so I think it's so important to have these groups available and to be able to help people. And so when I saw an opportunity, when Brian Ellington joined the company, and I'm seeing all these amazing training classes that he's launching for eXp, and so I reached out to him one day and I said, hey, how can I help? I would love to be able to translate, some of these programs that you have in Spanish. And he says, you know what, give me a minute, these are in beta, and let's see. And he came back around after he had started 2 sessions, I think, of the original FastCap, and said, okay, we're ready to do this. And so that's where we started, FastCap en Español. And I just think it's such an amazing opportunity where we get to connect directly with our company. We're helping, impacting agents, and I look at it as we have so much untapped potential within our company. This is a platform that you can come in, that you have a voice, that you can be able to exercise those leadership skills and be able to kind of launch off, right? So I love that whole idea. So I love what we do here at eXp Latino and also in all of our resource groups.
I love that. Thank you so much. All right, awesome. Cam, do you want to chime in? You were a leader for Pride for such a long time, and that was so impactful. Can you tell us a little bit about how that got started?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I always say that One eXp completely changed my life. Started at 22 years old. I was part of 5-6 resource groups just due to my walk of life and my background. And when I came into One eXp, I'm telling you, I had nothing. Going through a divorce, no income. I had quit my job 8 months ago. I'm starting a business in a state I wasn't from. I had no sphere of influence. And tell me any 22-year-old that's buying houses, right? So I couldn't even lean on the sphere that I did have. So coming into eXp, into a virtual environment, I felt alone. I was seeking community. I was seeking a place of belonging. I just felt like I had my teeth kicked in at that time. And coming across One eXp, it completely had changed my life. I stepped into the Pride Network because that's what I felt most resonated with. That community was quiet at the time. It was more of like a space. It wasn't really a movement. They weren't really doing a whole lot. So I stepped into that, and I cannot tell you enough just how much One eXp, and specifically the Pride Network, had changed the trajectory of my growth in my career. It gave me the tools and the relationships and the systems, not just to grow my business as an agent, but to also grow across this space as an entrepreneur, across the industry. And the Pride Network, of course, being an engaged leader, obviously was a referral network, right? But then it also afforded me the frameworks to build something so much bigger, to tie community together and ultimately show how belonging drives business outcomes. Within a year of being a part of the Pride Network, I was able to build a 6-figure business through that platform. And I bought my first property at 22 years old. And then everything started to grow. But then I was like, how can we scale this bigger, right? I've seen so many people touched by One eXp because of the relationships. Even Michelle connected me with Angelica Ventrese recently, and it has made a world. Like, One eXp continues to change my life every single day. I cannot tell you enough just how incredible it is. And we were able to grow the Pride Network through intersectionality and synergy and community to over 20,000 members in 2024. Because people saw purpose. They saw not just a space for belonging, but a space for belonging that ultimately drives business outcomes, a space that is going to flourish everybody around them. And I really leaned into that advocacy part early on and just saw that, if coming from a place where my back was against the wall, I had no money, I was probably the saddest I'd ever been in my life. One of the most valuable lessons that I learned in that was that if you really want that change, if you really want that breakthrough, you have to find someone who needs it more and give and continue to give and relentlessly give forward, because that in itself is going to come back tenfold. And that's one of those valuable things that One eXp has taught me, is that turn to your neighbor and give. If you see someone who needs help, go reach a hand out and give, because you never know how that comes around. But after growing the Pride Network, I'd spent 3.5 years in the groups, and then now taking the lead of manager of one eXp. I mean, now we get to do what Pride Network did for me for everyone, and so it's just awesome. It's awesome to be a part of, and I'm just excited to see where it all is going to go.
That's beautiful. Yeah, no, I love that, and I love your story. I love to hear it. Yeah, so for me, I started with YP as a state leader. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do some events. I'm going to put some stuff on. And it really just, for me, it turned on its head. And it actually uncovered my purpose, which I could have never in a million years dreamed that would have happened. I was still trying to find myself as a person, trying to find myself as an agent, trying to find myself as a young professional, literally like brand new in business for myself, had always been in the corporate world. And so everything was very foreign and very new. And to come into one eXp and them just literally have open arms to whatever you want to do, Jen, and the sky is the limit. By the way, we're going to introduce you to this and we're going to introduce you to that. And before I knew it, I was really involved in so many other resource groups and tapping into my talents. And it's been overwhelming. And I'm so grateful to one eXp. I'm so grateful to YP. It definitely changed my business and just changed me as a person, which is a beautiful thing. When something can come in and be that impactful that it changes you, and it really brings out like your best, and it challenges you every day to be your best. I mean, it's something else. Like I can't really put it into words. I'm trying, but it's hard. Words are hard, y'all. So what specific skills, I guess, let's talk about skills, because we all have them. We're all adapting them. It's trial and error sometimes, but what skills specifically did you guys develop inside of your resource groups that directly impact your business performance? Andrew, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I'm still learning too. I mean, and Gracie and I and Jen are working really closely on the YP board of directors, being membership engagement. We do a lot of social media and trying to build our social media platform and presence while honing in the brand we want. Gracie and I were texting about it yesterday. So like, we're always constantly learning. I think the big thing it really taught me was that collaboration always beats competition. Talking to other colleagues here in the Cincinnati area and talking about their brokerages, they don't have the connection and the resources we do with agents in other states. I mean, they're in the same office, they're at meetings every day, and they're constantly competing with one another, where here at eXp, I haven't seen Gracie in almost 1.5 years in person. But, I know it's too long, but we still communicate daily. We talk daily. We collaborate daily. We share best practices. And I think that's really something that what's taught me in my business is real estate is global. It's not local. And I think the more you're willing to think outside of the box of hyper local and think global, it really expands your horizons and expands what you're capable of. And that's what YP and one eXp has taught me.
Yeah, I love that. Who wants to go next?
I'll jump in.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I love everything that Andrew just shared, because I think you get so much responsibilities when you are running these groups. But I would say, breaking it down, leadership, you are hosting and facilitating and serving consistently. There's visibility. You're speaking, you're showing up, you're being known for value. Communication. So like, especially when it comes, in our circle, the bilingual, having clarity in the cultural nuances, and then networking that actually converts into, just a collaboration, but also into deals. We're doing global business, as you said. And when we open up and we're just sharing, we're coming from a place of contribution and just a place of abundance, right? We're just openly sharing. People are going to gravitate to that. They're going to want to be a part of that community, that circle, and want to do business together with that circle.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
I agree also. For me, it's, I always thought of myself as a person that's pretty organized and really good with my systems and everything. And I'm still learning, as Andrew said, right? Like, we're still always learning, but it's giving me a new challenge, right? So now I'm not like trying to figure out a real estate team. Now I'm trying to figure out this organization. And now, it's just leadership. It's a different kind of leadership that I'm learning, and a different kind of person that I have to become to be that leader, right? Before it's just, me, I'm the leader of my team, right? And now I am part of a group, part of several groups of different types of leadership where the objective is to serve this community, right? Not to sell something to someone or make a bunch of money like on a real estate team. It's the objective is how do we provide value to this group of people who are a part of this community? How do we make them feel connected? So on and so forth. So I feel like those are the skills that I'm constantly like being challenged in, right? Like as I go about my day to day, like specifically running eXp Millnet, as a leader, like, oof, I'm learning so much as I go. I was like, wait, that's not going to work. And like having to figure everything out, it has just been really cool and really exciting. And I realized how much I love it. And, of course, we all do this as a volunteer thing, right? And yet I find myself wanting to do this all day because I just love it so much. And I'm like, no, girl, stop. Hold on. I got to do some, I got to sell some properties. But I really do like love it so much. And I love just watching it. It's like a little baby. I love watching it grow. Right. And it's been really nice to be a part of it.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's great. So for me, the skill set has just been, obviously, yeah, we're still learning. And I feel like we try to get it right 100% of the time, but I feel like it challenges us at the same time. And for me, really just tapping into just things like this, just bringing people together, bringing communities together that maybe we see each other in passing and we definitely support each other from afar, but bringing us into conversations just like these. I feel like this is important, not only for our individual resource groups, but just as a whole. So we can have these conversations and with other agents, other staff, so they can see what's possible. Because I feel like it's just one of those untapped things that's not talked about enough. And as leaders, we're the ones who are in charge of showing them what's possible. So I just love that.
I love that you both of you guys touched on the first word that came to my head when you asked that question was proximity. Mm-hmm. And what you get is proximity to rub elbows with the best of the best. Not best of the best across the company, best of the best across the industry. And one eXp, my brain thinks in frameworks. So the first framework I thought of that really was pivotal that I introduced in my business because of one eXp is I call them the 4 M's: model, mimic, master, multiply. If anyone follows Brandon Dawson, they probably read it in his book, 9-Figure Mindset. But modeling the one eXp leaders who are top producing, who are making those connections, who are doing the things that we want to do, right? We talked about finding our purpose, and if finding our purpose is ultimately elevating, motivating, educating, and supporting and guiding agents across this space. Okay, well, you have the people that you can model. They're going to be put in the rooms where you can mimic them. They're going to give you the opportunity to master it through consistency and repetition because they're going to afford you the opportunity to step into that space. And then myself, and part of my role is to teach you how to multiply. How can I show you how to transfer those concepts into people around you so you can ultimately build the empire that you're trying to do, right? How do we build that empire? Through leaning into authenticity, organic cultivation, and storytelling. The more authentic that you are in your space, the more that people are going to want to gravitate towards you. And Michelle said a great point that like we're all volunteers. But at one eXp, it never has felt like a volunteer position. This has felt like an investment of time because of the ROI that I get from it. The ROI on relationships, the ROI on the bottom dollar in my business, the ROI on my reputation, my purpose, being able to be in a space where we can mastermind with people. So yeah, model, mimic, master, multiply, being in proximity to power. And like Michelle said, like having a true return on investment on your time. I have seen agents completely change their lives because of this program and what you guys do.
It's a return on investment on our hearts too. Like
yes.
It makes it feel good,
Agreed.
Yeah. No, that's very true. Absolutely. So speaking to our audience, for someone who's curious about plugging in and plugging into multiples, maybe there's a couple of resource groups that feel aligned, and it's not just one, you know, but they could be feeling overwhelmed at the same time, you know, because of all that we do and the exposure for all of the groups. So how do you decide where to start without spreading yourself too thin? What would your guys' advice be on that?
I would say plug into the group that, you know, it's like we say with everything, just like choose the one thing first real quick before you start like trying to jump into everything. So I would say choose the group that you feel that is going to be most aligned with your goals. For example, for me, it was military because the majority of my clients are military. So it was beneficial to me to get to know where all the other eXp military affiliated agents are, you know, and then later it was Latino for the same exact reason. I speak Spanish. So I want all the Spanish speaking, I want to know who all the Spanish speaking agents are around the country so we can exchange referrals. I mean, that's the reason I was that's why I was searching for those two in particular. But I would say, if, you know, to begin to tap in, I would say the easiest way to do it is just show up to trainings and meetings, because that you can do that right from your phone or from your house or whatever. It doesn't take any like extra effort. Find out when they are, drop it on your calendar and start showing up. Then you'll meet people, you'll learn things, you'll start like seeing faces, you can start like following them on Instagram. You start building connections through there. And if you have the ability, then you can start like showing up at the rally, showing up at eXp Con, and then seeing the people face to face. And just, it's a snowball effect of relationship building. I would start with tapping into trainings, masterminds like the one you're on right now.
Yeah, exactly. And the beautiful thing is we all have them, right? So tap in. I mean, make sure that you guys are following online. That's where we release majority of what we're doing. Andrew, you want to say, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I would just piggyback on that. Tap in. I think following the resource groups on social media with the transition from Slack into the hub, like, you know, the social media is probably the easiest place to follow along with what the resource groups are doing right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, Camryn. But just to see visually what these resource groups are doing around the country, social media is a place to tap in. I think that Michelle said it really nicely. Find what best suits you, find your best skill set, find what you're craving in your business. For me, it was being around younger individuals. Like I said, not that I don't love my mom and dad, but coming from the corporate world when I worked in a marketing agency to coming into real estate, I was surrounded by young people and young energy, and I wanted that, and I crave that in my business and crave that in my growth and my development in my business. So being in YP has really provided that for me. And I think, you know, just about tapping in and not being afraid to show up. I think people are so scared to just hop on a Zoom, hop on a call, hop on whatever, reach out to someone. The one thing I've learned about eXp is everybody's willing to help everybody. So don't be afraid to reach out to someone on Instagram and just shoot them a message or DM them, because they're probably going to respond to you, which is really beneficial of eXp and really something that I think a lot of other brokerages lack.
I'll jump in. I think, of course, I love what both Andrew and Michelle have said, 100%. I think that get involved with these groups at a level that makes sense for you. And I think it's so important just to stay connected to, whether it's one meeting, just pick one, right? Pick one and be consistent in being connected. And I was just sharing this with one of my mentees, is that, you know, sometimes this industry can be really hard, and so it could be lonely. And so find a community that you feel comfortable in and be committed every week. And when you're feeling at your lowest, I find that when I tap into any one of these meetings, it quickly changes how I feel. So it motivates me. I see what other people are doing. I'm like, okay, I can do this, right? So for those days that you're feeling like you're just kind of struggling along and you need that motivation, and probably you don't even feel like doing it, just do it. Don't think about it. Just plug into something, because this is going to help get you out of that. And so you gotta learn how to reset yourself. And so just kind of plug into something, but be consistent doing that. And so again, just if you're going to volunteer for something, just do it at the capacity that you know you're capable of, right? And then everything else will kind of grow from there, because as you get more involved, you'll either find out that you love it or maybe you don't, and that's okay. Do something else, go into something else that you think you might like better. Or what I like to do is discover what are people's strengths, and let's put you doing something that you actually love and are good at, because I want you to be successful, right? So just find what that is and just go for it. And you're going to find out sometimes you feel like you're here to help serve, but you find out that it starts helping you to grow more. So I love that part of giving, is that when I think that I'm helping someone and then I find out, oh shoot, I'm the one that's being helped here. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And kind of to piggyback off of what Rebecca was saying, this kind of covers a little bit of our next question, but growth, right? I think we've all grown like leaps and bounds since we started in our resource groups, and it has crossed over in a lot of instances to other resource groups. But for the ones that are just thinking about joining, or the ones that are just thinking about getting involved, like, let's talk about growth for a second. Let's talk about the things that could happen, the possibilities, right?
So someone, for example, who might be thinking of joining, at least I can speak for military network, so the easiest thing, like I said, to tap into is our trainings, right? So you can tap in, that's growing that way, growing through hearing from others, networking, learning, just kind of being in that sauce, right? And then we have leadership opportunities statewide. So we have what we call state squad leaders. So if at some point you're like, you know what, I really want to get more involved. And I know not a lot of other groups have similar concepts, like ambassadorships and things like that. But you can step into that role. Or say maybe you don't even want to step all the way in there. You can reach out to the current state squad leader and be like, look, I'm not sure that I want to like do all of that, but let me, what can I help you with, right? How can I help you serve the state and everything? And then it just keeps going, right? Because the state squad leaders that show up are the state squad leaders who we want to have to give opportunities to teach our classes, right? So that gives you opportunities to grow as a leader, as a teacher, as whatever, you feel like you want to do in your career, right? And then those same people, hey, when we have opportunities for panels or speaking engagements at events or at eXpCon or anything like that, those are the tapped in people, are the people who are gonna want to choose for that stuff. And same thing when leadership positions open up in the board of directors. So it's like it's a series of ways that you can grow as much as you want, really, but the opportunities are there. And like I said, I'm pretty sure a lot of other affinity groups have a similar growth track, right? But it's all about tapping in, like Rebecca said, and the amount that you want to tap in. You will grow as much as you want to grow, because like, honestly, guys, I'm a big believer in just like show up and ask. Like literally show up and ask, like, can I help? Can I do this? Can I do that? Because a lot of the time the answer is going to be yes, please. Oh my God, help me. So just, you can show up as much or as little as you want. But if you're like, no, I want to join, I want to grow, I want to, grow this part of my skill set or this part of my career, just jump in, talk to the right person, ask, right? Just like we say when you're calling clients, just ask for the appointment, just ask, because if you don't ask, you're not going to hear a yes or a no, you're just going to get nothing, right? So just jump in, get involved, and ask whatever it is that you want to do.
Absolutely. Andrew, do you want to jump in? I know you got a jet, so do you want to leave some last words with us?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, piggybacking off that, Michelle, Jen has done an incredible job here at YP to build our education platform. We are getting way better about putting on social media and putting out, like, here's our monthly calendar as well as links so people can put it in their calendar. There's no really excuse to not tap into something anywhere at any research group or eXp University. There's so many opportunities to grow and learn and to develop yourself. And if you don't want to, then, it's fine. No one's holding you to that. I think the other thing too with the growth opportunities, YP, we're getting ready to open up another application session starting on the 15th. So we are like the other one eXp Infinity groups, we are growing rapidly. We have people that are reaching out to all of us that want to be involved. And I think that's an incredible thing that, again, not a lot of brokerages have agents willing to help step in, collaborate. And I think it just speaks volume to what Camryn, Gracie, all of the chairs of every Infinity group are really doing to lift up the agents in the group and to show people, look, there is a community here. There is a culture, unlike what you may think, because we are cloud-based. There is a culture of people here wanting to learn, wanting to grow, wanting to develop, and we're here to help you. And I think that's just a really beautiful thing that we have here at eXp. And I apologize, guys. I have to run. I'm so sorry.
I know. Andrew, before you jet, I want to get all of us take a quick picture. Everyone smile real quick. I want to capture the moment. Everybody, cheese. Got it. Okay, cool. I'll put that on the gram.
Perfect.
I want to. Bye, Andrew. We'll stay in touch.
Bye, Andrew.
I love what you guys have said, and I 100% agree. So I don't want to reiterate that, but I will add for the growth side of it. We talk about growth. One of the things that is incredible about eXp and all of these resource groups is that these are platforms that you could leverage for agent attraction. If you are somebody out there who is looking to build their downline, if you want to build residual income, you want to build that financial freedom that we're all here because we want to make money, right? We're here because we thought that this was a vehicle to propel us forward into financial freedom. We wanted the time and the money back. Like, if that is something you are looking to do, people join eXp not for the benefits, because I'll tell you, more than half these agents don't know what we have. So much they don't know everything. I guarantee you there's no one on this call that knows every single thing that we have to offer, because there's so much. People join us because the alignment in culture and alignment in compensation. They know they're going to be with the right people, and they're confident that they're going to make more money with us. And if you can leverage this platform as the heartbeat of our culture to propel people forward, then ultimately you will naturally attract revenue share. You will naturally build your downline. So if that's something you want to do, please use One eXp. Like Michelle said, you get what you put into it. That's why we say it's an investment. It's an investment of time, and it's an investment of, fulfillment and purpose. You can ultimately leverage this platform to build your culture and to build your downline. And if anybody, if you want a call to action, if you're somebody that's like, hey, I love everything that everybody's saying, but where do I go? Like, I know you guys are on social, where do I go? I would highly suggest you visit exptoolkit.com/1exp. In there, we house all 16 resource groups, contact information, socials, get connected on the hub, connected on Slack. We have merch, we have brand stores, we have just all of the free resources we have accessible to you. If you're someone who's like, hey, I want to join, where do I start? exptoolkit.com/1exp. And in there, you can get information on all 16 resource groups and connect with these incredible leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the toolkit. The toolkit's awesome. And you guys, there's toolkits out there for everything. So if you can think of it, it's out there, including One eXp. So thank you so much, Camryn, for mentioning that. That's awesome. Let's see. So I guess let's talk about practical steps while we're on the subject. Camryn mentioned obviously going out to the toolkit. That's huge. What are some other practical steps that one could take? Let's say that they know a leader, they know one of us, and maybe they're thinking about joining. Maybe they're thinking about just what are some of your groups doing to, I guess, include? Are you guys holding events? Are you guys other than the trainings? What are you guys doing? Are you guys popping out on your stories? Just, I guess, fill in the blanks for me. What are you guys doing to get people involved into your groups? I know a lot of us are not really starting, a new resource group per se, but we're kind of starting from the ground up a little bit. So what are we doing?
Okay, well, I'll start. We have our monthly mastermind, and we keep in touch with with our group in Slack, now moving into the hub. But aside from that, we have, since it's a Latino group, we are also members of NAREP, and we have a corporate sponsorship with NAREP. So we get together, we have gatherings during their conference. They have 2 major conferences a year, and we have a booth at one of the conferences. And so we are planning around that, those, manning the booth and the activities that we do at those events. And then we also have a annual mixer that we do each year at eXpCon, which everyone knows us for because everybody's invited. So if you've been to our Havana Nights event, this year we're going for a different, I won't share in advance, but it's going to be very different this year at Salt Lake City. We're embracing those country vibes. That's the only clue that I'll give you. But yeah, we have such a great time doing this. It's a wonderful time to get involved. You can become an ambassador with eXp Latino. We're currently taking applications, and I think many of our resource groups are taking applications for their ambassador positions within their groups. So it's really easy. Just reach out to any one of the leaders. You can reach out to me in Slack, and I'd be happy to let you know how you can get involved with eXp Latino. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I love that. And what about Milnet? Michelle, what can you tell us about, what are you guys doing?
So we are one of those that are kind of not, I don't want to say starting from the ground up, but we're, gathering ourselves. We had a leadership change at eXpCon last year. So we're, the group was in its like phase 1, and now we're entering our phase 2, right? So like version 2. So we're working on that. So we've gotten, like I mentioned, the trainings to be nice and consistent. I actually have a goal of making them weekly before the end of the year. So we'll see how that goes. We also will have events at eXpCon as well. In the past, we've had a happy hour. We've also had a spouses gathering, like for military spouses. And we have also, we will also still have our military network luncheon, which is put on by corporate, like a formal event. So that's pretty cool. So we'll continue to have that. And then we are now empowering our state squad leaders, because whereas before, it's like, what do I do? I'm a state squad leader, right? So now we are working with the state squad leaders to empower them to get into their communities, find their members in their state, or, get the word out in their state that Milnet is even a thing, because that was some of the feedback we got before. So I love being on these calls because I get to be like, hey, by the way, we exist, So we are empowering our state squad leaders to do that, to get out there and be like, hey, by the way, there is a resource group here for attraction or otherwise, right? But, in general, hey, there's a resource group here for you of fellow military members or spouses or supporters or family members, whatever. And just, I think yesterday, in fact, our Texas state squad leader, Inez, put together an event in San Antonio, brought to you by eXp Military Network. So we're, getting out there and doing a little bit more in-person stuff. So that's why I said, if you really do want to get involved, but don't want to have all the responsibility, we can connect you, obviously connect you in the community, but connect you with your state squad leader so you can get with them and be like, hey, can I, be a boots on the ground for you to help you with something you want to put together? Can I help get the word out? So on and so forth. So if you have any questions about anything like that at all, the easiest way to get a hold of me is on Instagram, because I try to just stay on the one app. There's so many apps, but I'm going to put it in the chat for y'all, but that's the easiest way to get a hold of me. I am on that thing all day long. So I do post anything that's going on with Milnet or anything that I'm involved in. I do post that on there as well in my stories.
Yeah, you guys, I forgot to mention that. Put your IGs in the chat so everybody can follow you guys if they're interested in just your resource groups or just resource groups in general. To kind of piggyback off of what you were talking about, Michelle. So it's about support, but it's also, like you said, showing up. And I know a lot of our groups, they run events, and there's events that you can hold. So I kind of want to close us out with, I guess, those events. Like, there's so much that you guys can do if you're listening, if you're in the audience, if you're watching this recording. There's so many, there's so much flexibility there, right? There's there's events that you can hold in your community. There's events that you can hold with us, like on a national level. I mean, there really is no limit to what you can do inside those resource groups if you want to be involved. But if you want to be somebody who's just like, I'm going to help somebody else that's involved, or I'm just going to go and show my support, that's fine too. We love that. You know, we want you guys to support us and support our events. We take a lot of time putting those together. We do charity events. I know for YP, we love doing charity events. We love, you know, and especially for what is now Care Action Network, but was Climate Action, the environment. You know, we're widening that door. We're including people, we're including education, we're including resources. And I'm so excited about that initiative, but you guys can get involved with whichever and whatever, and there can be multiples. And so that's what I really love about One eXp, is that, you know, while we do have a lane, if you take up multiple spaces, that's perfectly fine too. And so, yeah, if you guys want to take on events though, and kind of just let us know. I know I don't want to like rehash necessarily, but showing up at events and just like, how do you guys run yours? You know, as far as like your state leaders coming in and telling you what they want to do and their communities and things like that. And we'll do some questions too.
We empower our state leaders to get out there and host events like on their own. Like, hey, you guys, like we'll give you, we have guides on like how to do such events and things like that, but we empower all of our members, like get out there and do the thing, you know. Particularly the state squad leaders, we definitely want to put that extra responsibility on them because, you know, they're the leaders. So